Witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie, Lutek z tej strony i zapraszam do kontynuacji naszej przygody King Kong Deliverance 2. Zapraszamy. Dobra. Co to jakieś wilki? Psy? Czy coś? Tu się coś jara, chyba jakieś miąsko. Co on dziki ma w zagrodzie? Mogę wejść, czy nie bardzo? O, nie bardzo.
You stupid mutt. I've trudged out here for nothing.
Robek.
What the hell? How come it's open?
Tu jest kto? Wielarz czy coś?
God be with you.
Wieśniak.
Christ, what's the holds up?
Karczma.
And what can I get for you?
What's new around here?
Vostatek. Lord von Beregov's huntsman is a regular here. He might have some work for you. He's got a cottage near Vidlak Pond. So if you know your way around the woods, you could go and offer him your help. I hope he hasn't started drinking somewhere else. He's my best customer. You could also stop by and see Old Mouth. He's the local storyteller. He could tell you all sorts of interesting things. But only if you bring him some liquor. Don't forget, I have some here to sell, if you want. And that's all I'd say.
Sounds interesting. Thank you, innkeeper. You having problems with the Zheliovoites?
Not just me, my friend. They're the biggest bastards around. They've been nothing but trouble for years. The winter before last, they piled snow in front of everyone's doors at night, so no one could get out of their house. And last year, They broke into my cellar and pissed in my beer barrel.
Gracious. I hope you got your aim back on them.
Not yet, no. But since you're here, I've got a plan you could help me out with. I'd pay you well. You can count on that.
What exactly would you like me to do?
Don't worry. I won't make you do any shoveling or pissing anything. But I'll tell you exactly what I have in mind, only after you promise to help me. I'd hate to reveal my plan, only for you to go off and tell the Zelievites right away.
Well, if you've got it all figured out, why don't you do it yourself?
Right. And who's going to run the inn in the meantime, eh? Besides, everyone in Zhelyov knows us. If someone from here shows up there, they'll get suspicious.
All right. I'll help you.
Listen up then. Old Olbram, the owner of the biggest plot of land in Zhelyov, has this beautiful bull. White as snow he is. The finest animal far and wide. Obviously, he's very proud of it. Very protective too. Now I mean you, will give his beautiful snow-white bull a nice new coat of paint. Olbram is going to lose his mind. Simple, right?
Painting a bull, eh? That sounds like fun.
Right. We just have to work out a few details. First, we have to get some paint. I don't reckon we'll be able to get any here in the village. But you can try and ask Bartoszek, the tailor in Trotskovitz. I hear he dyes his own fabric. And after that, we'll have to make sure the bull stays still while you're painting it. Try asking Radovan, the local blacksmith. I hear he can make some kind of sleeping potion. If you pour it in the bull's water trough, I'm sure it'll do the trick. But watch out. That beast is enormous. You'd better put at least 3 doses of the potion in there.
All right, then. Olbram's bull will be getting a new coat of paint.
Olbram's going to lose his mind. I can't wait. And remember, it's supposed to be a joke. If you get caught or something goes wrong, the whole thing will be ruined.
Right. So I need paint, sleeping potions, and to not get caught. Why do you and the Zhelyov lot hate each other so much, anyway?
It's their fault. They keep playing tricks on us. Olbram's the worst of them all. The nasty old codger. He's always coming up with ways to mess with us. He's the one that stole our pasture.
What pasture did they steal from you?
The one that stretches from the orchard behind the Takov down to the gamekeeper's lodge. It's been ours since time immemorial. But the Zelievites took it from us.
And how did they take it from you? You can't exactly stuff a pasture in your purse and walk away with it.
Save the jokes, will you? This is fucking serious. There's a tree down by the gamekeeper's lodge that marks the edge of our land. My father, God rest his soul, was there when they agreed on it. He got a proper ass kicking so he'd remember it. And remember it he did. But then fucking Olbram came along, claiming it was the other way around. And that pasture belonged to Zhelyov.
Well, that's a tough nut to crack. What's new around here?
Nothing new. It's quiet here, fortunately.
Can I spend the night here?
Not a chance. Move along, you vagabond.
Prawidło.
Greetings.
Well, good day.
Priorytet do tego Kowala się dostać.
I heard you could use a helping hand at the forge.
I could. My last two hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. What do they call you?
Henry.
I'm Radovan. You should know, Henry. The blacksmithing isn't for everyone. Have you done it before?
Yeah. I basically grew up in the forge. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge.
Dobra, Kowals. A co?
Go over to the anvil and let's get started.
Why'd you ask?
I heard she was sick. I just wanted to know if she's feeling better.
It was nothing, just a slight cold. Aye, a man would be calling for the priest, but women are made of stronger stuff.
I'll drop by and visit her sometime then.
Feel free. You're no longer in mortal danger.
Are you gonna get started then?
Ciśnij E na kowadle.
Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. It works the bellows. Tell the temperature by the color, but you won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out for time and take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw color we want. You've got talent, lad. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it.
No i dobra, i co?
Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Henry, focus. Give it a try. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. Thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Hear that? Besides the sparks, you can tell a good strike by the sound it makes. Well struck. Sparks. That's the stuff. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. That's the ring you want. That's some nice whistling. It's easier to forge to a rhythm, isn't it? Keep on whistling. Make sure you keep... There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it. And the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking.
No i elegancko. Jakość trójka.
Right. Let's have a look. Very nice work. Your father taught you the trade well.
He'd certainly be happy to hear that.
If you carry on hammering as well as you did today, you've definitely got a job here. Even so, keep in mind, it's all about making sure every strike does its job. That's why you can't let it get cold, or keep striking the same spot. If you work evenly, each strike falling right next to the last one, you can't go wrong. Got that? Or is there something else you want to ask about?
W sumie w trakcie co nas uczył. Kiedy tworzywo jest gotowe, to kształt. Równomiernie, no to wiadomo. Rozgrzać żelazo to tak.
How do I know a
Jeszcze
good strike
uderzenia.
from a bad one?
By the sparks that fly up, and by the ring. It rings out with a different sound when you do it right.
Ok.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
You can sleep in the chamber by the woodshed, and there's a chest where you can keep your things. And of course, you can use the forge anytime you want. Any questions?
po kolei.
Where can I get materials?
You can buy some essentials from me, but if you want to make a fancy sword with lots of ornamentation, you'll have to look elsewhere. This is just a village, you know. The locals ain't after luxury. They can't afford it neither.
What can I do with the items I've forged?
Well, you can sell them, though you probably won't have much luck around here. But I'll happily buy some of the nicer things from you.
Where exactly is my bed?
At the side of the house, there are 2 doors and a wheelbarrow between them. You go in by the rear door, next to the woodshed, and you can put your things in the chest there. Don't worry, nobody'll steal them.
What now?
What do you think? You're not going to be idle. I'll find you some work to do right away. You're pretty good at swords, but what the locals really need is axes and horseshoes. Right. Here are some simple drawings that show what they're both supposed to look like. And some iron. You can get down to it right away.
Just like that? You aren't going to help me?
Sacre, lad. I chose you because you already know a thing or two. I'm not going to look over your shoulder all bloody day. You take care of these smaller jobs. Forge away as long as you're able, and then sell it all. Once you've made some coin and feel like being out in the open again, I'll give you some more interesting work.
No i git. No i git. Mamy swoje miejsce. Pomiędzy taczkami jakimiś. Chyba to, co? Nie wiem, czy to jest moje, czy to nie jest moje. Tam jakieś dużo rzeczy jest w środku już. Chyba, że to jest moje. Nie, tu raczej jest schowek. To raczej jest jego chata. Dobra. Czyli to wszystko nasze jest. Czyli mamy tu w ogóle jakieś przedmioty. Miecz. Statystyki tego. Tarcza lata. Fajna ta tarcza. Kurczę. Obrona plus 223, trwałość 33, waga plus 9. Ta jest tarcza lata lepsza. Tu trwałości mamy mniej. Może ta tarcza lata niech będzie. Dobra, i teraz tak. Pochodnia. Tak, czapkę. W sumie wszystko łowczego mamy, nie? Na pas możemy wziąć myśliwego, nie? Ten kaptur. To nam pasuje, tak? Wszystko łowczego. Ale dzięki temu statystyki też nam wzrosły, nie? Zlotna broń numer 2. Uszy. Elegancko. Dobra, mamy miecz i tarczę. Mamy swoje wyro. Teraz misję. Dobra. Są dodatkowe questy, czyli mysz, orzech, trening walki, ten herb. Ale jeszcze tu trochę misji musimy. Proś Kowala o pomoc. I tu jest jeszcze quest.
I need something repaired.
Dobra, no może sprzedać wszystko.
I'll have a look at the wares.
Pierwszy raz odpalamy sklep. Broń. Nie? Do szybkiej naprawy broni. Sprzęt do pozwolenia naprawić metalowej piki. Wytrych.
Oh well, what can you do? Farewell then.
Za dużo tutaj kasy nie mam, nie? No, 0.
What do you have for sale?
Sprzedać o. Tego nie. Tarczę też nie. Chociaż te tarcze trochę wartości mają, nie? Jakby je sprzedać. Tarcza lata w sumie i tak jest najlepsza, nie? No. Ile to wyszło? 361.
I hope you'll be satisfied, my friend.
Git. Te rzeczy można było sprzedać. No co to? Po kolei teraz.
There's a couple more things I'd like to ask.
Ask away.
Dobra, to
Thanks.
pomoc mi nie jest potrzebna.
I'm still not really sure of myself in the forge.
Why not? Why don't you forge me another?
Yeah,
Let's see what you...
To jeszcze raz trzeba wrócić.
Are you gonna get started then? Furnace is cold now.
Kolejny
Give it a
korpus.
practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above it. Give it a pull. It works better. Tell the temperature by the color, but you won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? That's exactly the straw color we want. You've got to have that. Now heat up the whole thing. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway.
Excellent. Excellent. Next time it'll be even better.
It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil.
Well, that's not bad at all.
sparks. That's the stuff. Well struck. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, there you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking.
No i git. Rzemiosło 8. Mogę mu teoretycznie sprzedać, nie?
I heard you could teach me something.
For a few groschen, it's no problem. What do you want to know?
Rzemiosło podstawa. Piątko 52.
It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semin, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Semin wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Semin's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semin that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semin.
All right. I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. I need something that'll put animals to sleep. Project said you might know something.
Did you get tired of blacksmithing and take up farming instead? I just happen to know of something. I used a concoction that will put even a startled mare to sleep in no time. I once accidentally drank some and slept for 3 days. But the recipe is an old blacksmith's secret. The kind you don't just give away. You're in the trade, so I can tell you. Listen up then. You take some poppy and thistle and boil them in oil. Then, after it cools off, you add a little herb Paris.
That doesn't sound too complicated. Thank you.
Gitara. On może mi czegoś nauczyć. Na temat kowalstwa potrzebuję wprawy, nauczyć...
There's a couple more.
Ask away.
A to ogólnie.
Thanks. Can I ask you?
What is it?
All right.
Times...
Dobra. Z kowalem byśmy mieli już wszystko. Musimy teraz lecieć tu. Karczmy.
Good day to you.
He People call you the mouth, right? They say you tell all sorts of stories.
I'm no mouth to you. My name is Denyek. Got that? What do people call you then? Bughead? Arseface?
I'm sorry, Steniak. I'm Henry.
Pleased to meet you. You were right about the stories. I could tell you stories so sad they'd make the devil cry. Or would you prefer something so scary it'll make the hairs on your ass turn white? But it's a lot of hard work for me. Now, if you had something to drink or a couple of groschen, that might help loosen my tongue.
Well, that's nice now.
Zapłacić mu?
I know quite a few stories myself. How about a trade? A story for a story.
All right, then. But if it's the one about the magic porridge pot, don't bother. I've heard it 100 times. And that story always leaves me feeling hungry.
I know a romantic tale about a knight, his lady love, and 3 impossible tasks he had to undertake to win her heart. He had to bring her the sweetest wine, tame the wildest horse, and make a crown with the rarest gem.
And then? What happened when he'd done all 3?
The lady of his heart showed her gratitude by giving him the most precious thing she had. And I'm not talking about gold.
Ho! A raunchy ending. That'll be popular with the lads round here. If I were you, I'd make it longer. To last a whole evening. Add a wicked stepmother, that sort of thing. It'll be a hit. And now, I'll tell you a tale in return. So what kind of story would you like to hear?
Pouczająca.
I like stories that can teach me something. Stories with a moral.
Haven't you heard enough of those in church? But it's not a problem. I have just the tale for you. And it's not one you'll hear from any priest. Taking their time again. So, once upon a time, there lived in these very lands 2 brothers. The older was called Kuba, the younger, Matthias. They were both woodcutters, like their father and his father before him. One day, at the height of summer, they were working in the woods. The air was as hot as a furnace, so Matthias went to a nearby pond to cool himself. But as he was leaning over the cold water, there was a loud splash. His axe had got loose from his belt. In haste, he began to search the muddy bed of the pond, and his hands soon touched something hard and heavy. He pulled it out and could not believe his eyes. He pulled out an axe. Yes, but not his old one.